Joining us now is Matthew Buckley. He is a former decorated Navy fighter pilot, knows a lot about flying overseas, and I'm so glad that you are here to join us today. And you go by the call name Whiz, so a lot of people call you that. Matt, I want to thank you very much for joining us today. We had an opportunity to speak when this all went down yesterday, or at least when we got the news. So first, I want to thank you for joining us and talk to us about your initial thoughts. And one of the first things that you and I talked about was just the sheer planning of this and the air bridge. I want you to talk to us about that, what you know about the B-2 and the refueling tankers that you knew right away something was going on, because these B-2s took off with minimal fuel. Explain to our audience what you know about that.
Absolutely, Laura. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. The B-2s clearly took off fully loaded with ordnance, because they had to hit the tankers, the in-flight refueling aircraft, pretty soon after takeoff. And then as my buddy General Kane, call sign Ray's in brief today, there was some deception involved. So some went left and some went right, and turns out the folks that went right were the actual strike package. So incredible amount of planning, Laura, not only for what happened, but for what didn't happen. For example, flying over enemy territory, there had to have been a plan in case one of these B-2s got shot down. There had to be a whole SAR, or search and rescue plan. So an incredible amount of complex planning in a short amount of time. And we absolutely demonstrated the awesome power and might of the United States military and the resolve. And like you and I talked about last night, Laura, I thank God that nobody was injured on our side. And to be honest with you, Laura, on the Iranian side either. I mean, this talk about an incredible mission objective. We just wanted to take out these nuke sites, and no loss of life on either side. That's pretty top notch.
Yeah, a lot of people are talking about the time that it took to get from the continental United States to Iran and back without anybody noticing. I mean, it is so incredible. And the amount of hours, I think we're talking about 30 hours of this operation. And some people have been asking on the air today, how is it possible that none of these planes were spotted? I mean, of course, it's our military might, but tell us about that secret op part of it.
Well, pretty tight operational security. It wasn't too long ago that people were calling for Secretary of Defense Hegseth's head for Signalgate. Well, he went out and proved a lot of folks wrong with this. There wasn't a peep out of Washington. And obviously, Laura, some of these aircraft, most of the aircraft involved in this mission are stealth. Once they engaged and they start flying their stealth profile, ain't nobody on this planet going to see these aircraft. But as General Kane said in his briefing, there were some fourth and fifth generation fighter aircraft that joined up with the B-2s. This was an old school U.S. military strike. What went in first were fighters that did what is called SEAD, S-E-A-D, suppression of enemy air defenses. So they went in and took out surface-to-air missile sites, jammed radars, and did some good work to pave the way for these B-2s to go in and accomplish the mission. And I think the B-2s landed recently. I mean, that is a long day for these airmen who completed this mission. Laura, they're sitting on an ejection seat. This isn't a 30-hour first-class airline flight. That's a hard seat, and unless you've flown on one of those seats, I think my longest flight in the Hornet was over 8 hours. That is a brutal place to be sitting. So God bless these airmen, all the support staff, and the sailors on the ships and the submarines who executed this mission.
Matt, I love that perspective. Thank you so much for pointing that out. And how can people find you? Because you have a lot of these details on the web as well.
Absolutely. You can follow me on Instagram, official Whiz Buckley, and you can check out our foundation, nofallenheroes.com, where we're trying to help heal the folks from some of these previous conflicts. So I agree with President Trump. Peace through strength. Let's have peace at this point. No more wars.
All right. Former Navy Top Gun fighter pilot Matt Whiz Buckley, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll talk again soon. And we'll have